Welcome to the EdTech Throwdown. Join us, Eric Geis and Nick Johnson, as we dive into today's best EdTech tools, tips, and practices. We do the research so you can teach your class. Remember to follow us on social media like Instagram, X, or Facebook by looking for the handle @EdTech Throwdown. Now please enjoy the show.
Welcome to the EdTech Throwdown. This is episode 221 called 10 Tools for Specialized AI and Productivity. In this episode, we'll be talking EdTech tools as we bring you a list of some atypical AI platforms that might not otherwise come up for educators. This is another episode you don't want to miss. Check it out.
All right, back with episode 221. Happy August. I think I got to throw that in there.
Sure.
Hopefully it doesn't get too quick. I'm not quite ready to go back to school yet. I feel like we just got out.
I know. And August is always kind of has the same vibe as Sunday. You know what I mean? You can feel things creeping back in again, but that's all right because we're getting recharged. I'm almost all the way there, which means we're going to be thinking about stuff like productivity again and exploring some EdTech tools again, maybe some off the beaten path EdTech tools, which I think was sort of the main idea behind today's episode, right? Because these are definitely your atypical. A lot of these are not even really intended for education necessarily, but we're going to, sometimes we like to do that because maybe you'll hear about something cool. You can get in there, and then if enough educators pile on, as you all know, a lot of these things will start to cater to education. So that's what we were hoping for with this list.
Yeah, looking at the list, some of these are bizarre for educators, but it is still summer, and if you're anything like me, I like to play around a little bit with stuff that I don't get to play around with during the school year. So looking forward to getting into this list, but first let's take a listen to a message from our partners at the Teach Better Podcast Network.
This podcast is a proud member of the Teach Better Podcast Network. Better today, better tomorrow, and the podcast to get you there. You can find out more at teachbetter.com/podcasts. Now let's get back to the episode.
All right, let's get in this segment 2. I beat you to it. Take that one, Charlie. So we're into segment 2. All right, segment 2, we have 10 tools. Since it's a summer episode, we don't go too deep into any of these, but we will mention them, mention what they do, mention how you can get it, and maybe give a mention to what you could use it for.
And the first one is called Abacus. Abacus.ai is the website. This is, they call themselves the world's first. I don't know if that's true. That's just part of the marketing, but I'll throw it in there, whatever. The world's first AI super assistant. And they say it's tailored for enterprises, which you will not be, but it's also meant for professionals, which you are. And they have a chat bot that is meant for companies to use. But then they also have, it's all about integrating AI tools together, and I believe this was added to our list because we've been talking a lot about the possibility of what's commonly known as the AI agent. In other words, there's essentially separate, and my terminology is going to be way off here, but we'll call them separate AI tools or whatever that are designed to do a specific task, but they can talk to each other to help you accomplish a larger goal. So it's essentially, something that you might go through on any given day if you were going to do something really complex, like maybe you've got to spend part of your time in a spreadsheet. So you have to have your spreadsheet hat on to create that. But then you got to take that spreadsheet and bring it into a different platform, maybe Canva, and then make it look nice over there. And then you got to send it to the printer, and you know what I mean, just these different aspects of one larger task. AI agents kind of coordinate and can do those different things for you. So there's one AI agent that's been trained on doing a specific thing, maybe going through your emails. And when it does that, it can then send the information from the emails out to other AI agents that take care of it, depending on like what it is, right? So that's the idea here. Now, this is all intended for companies to use, but like I said at the beginning, what happens a lot of the time with this stuff is, why not teachers? A school is nothing more than an enterprise. We are professionals and we do lots of tedious tasks on our computers. Why can AI agents not help us do these things? Maybe even integrate with our LMS one day. Who knows? But we put abacus.ai here as one to kind of check out. Maybe you can figure out how to build some AI workflows and to get some different chatbots set up to automate these different things that we do every day.
It sounds pretty cool to me. We'll get into my first one, and I'm going to make a liar out of myself and say the first one is used for education, and you could easily find a way to use this in education. It's called Studly. All right, Studly.ai. Now it's not, you're not going there to look for pictures of very handsome, dapper men.
The studs.
The studs. You're going there to learn how to study. All right, so there are different things that you could do with studying on this AI platform. You can make study sets. So how do you make a study set? What are study sets? You upload an image, a file, an audio file, or video file, or you could paste in a YouTube URL or a website or any text, or you could just record a live lecture. And I think this is the cool piece. So if you got permission from a student, or they got permission for you to record it, your lecture, it will make a study packet from that lecture. It will take it, make note sheets, make quiz questions, interactive notes, flashcards, quizzes, and more with this. Studly also has an app, so that makes the recording of that audio file, if you want to go that way, a lot easier. And there's a paper grader in there, which could be used by a teacher, but also could be used by students to get some instant, feedback on their assignment. The app is cool because it allows you to use your camera phone. So if you have a question on how to do something or how to solve a problem, you could take a picture of that and it could be there as well. Another thing that I really like here is it has a collection of popular study guides by topic. So there's 157 different biology ones. One that's sticking out that looks really, really cool is the one on the heart, and also another one done by Ninja Nerd on blood typing. If you go across, there's other categories like computer science, mathematics, physics, history, medicine, all that stuff. Psychology, economics, geography, chemistry, philosophy. Has them all. There's other topics as well, but those are the main ones that come off the, over the screen. You also have the ability, and this is what I think a lot of tools are missing, you have the ability to create folders in here so you can organize your study sets by chapter, by section, by unit, whatever you want it to be. So check out Studly.ai.
They also have they've got a blog, one of their 3 things you can click on the top. And for stuff like this, I always like to kind of page through there to see if anything jumps out. And as you were talking, I was doing that. There's some cool stuff, man. Some definite things to kind of help you get started. And honestly, as I'm looking at these, they all sound like pretty cool future podcast episodes too. But like if you're a classroom teacher, there's some really specific things like preparing for the AP Lit exam. And I bet as I go through here, they're tailored to like lots of other specific exams, and AP Physics 1, pretty cool, man. So a lot of good stuff there on Studly. My next one is another sort of unique one that I don't think your average educator is going to consider. It's called openalternative.co. And their whole deal is sort of, it looks like collecting for people open source versions of other proprietary software that you might otherwise have to pay for. So, a little bit of background if you're not familiar with these words. Let's say you want to go and use Claude, right? Maybe you've heard that that's one of the better AI chatbots out there, can do some complex stuff. Claude is not open source. It is proprietary because you gotta pay for it. You have to go there. It's owned by them. Nobody can really see like the coding that makes Claude do what it does. So that is called proprietary software. And this could be for like pretty much anything you do online. Like if you're just listening to music on Spotify, that's proprietary software. And that's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with that. However, there's a whole world of alternatives to these proprietary things that try to accomplish the same goal, but in an open source way, which just means that it's not behind a paywall. They let you see, like download and see the coding behind it. So if you were somebody who had knowledge about those kinds of things, you could adjust it and make it your own and kind of see like the inner workings of that. And this includes some AI tools this way as well, where you can actually like change the way it works. Obviously, that's going to be way beyond any ability that we have here, and I'm guessing most of you too. But the free aspect is cool for some of these. So I'll just give you an example. When you go to openalternative.co, one of the more interesting things to get a sense of it is to click on the menu along the top. Just click alternatives. And it's going to list out some things that are familiar to you. And the first one there that I've mentioned already is Spotify. And it just lists out some of the open source alternatives to that tool. And it ranks them as well, which is nice because the number one on the list is the one I would try first, just since I'm talking about it. For Spotify, there's a open source music server called Navidrome, Navidrome. Never heard of it, but it streams your personal library with a web player, just like Spotify does, but in that open source way. So it's a self-hosted music streaming server. Pretty cool. Didn't know that was a thing, but that's the kind of stuff you're gonna find here. There's another Spotify alternative too. Just to go down through some of these other ones, there's a open source Netflix alternative, an open source many different YouTube alternatives. Oh man, Canva alternatives. One called Penpot, and another one called Graphite. Graphite specifically is a vector graphics editor, so just like some cool stuff, man. And I think if you're, even if you don't have the knowledge to understand the coding behind tools, I think if you're listening to this show, then this might be interesting to you. You might go there and sort of explore and see what you might be able to find out.
All right, so it seems like you had a nice collection of tools just by typing in a tool that is out there for a price. Now you're getting it for free, and mine's the same type of thing here, but mine was made by the California State University East Bay, and this is a part of a resource PDF that they give to their masters in education for online teaching and learning students. All right, this is called the most comprehensive list of free online tools for teachers. And when you go there, this PDF is about 20 pages long, and all it is a list of all these open source tools that are free to use. And they break them down into the following categories: presentation tools, timelines, whiteboard animation, animated videos, and interactive videos, audio and podcast tools, mind mapping tools, chart, flowchart, and diagram tools, digital storytelling and cartoon tools, avatar tools, photo and image editing, tests and quizzes, surveys and polls, PDF conversion tools, and video tools. So if you have anything that fits those content headings, you'll want to go over there because there is a slew, that means a lot, of tools out there for these. I mean, under each one is roughly 10 to 12 tools, it looks like. Different tools. There's some categories that have a little less because they're a little bit more niche, but the podcasting one has 12 tools in it. Mind Maps has 9 tools in it. The flowchart one has 10 tools in it. So you probably are getting a little over 100 free tools to use. Some of these I've heard of, some of these I haven't, like Chart Gizmo. Never heard of it. Looks cool. But some of the other ones I have heard of. And I want to check out the Avatar one in the podcasting section just to see if there's anything in there that we haven't seen before, and then check them out. Who knows? Maybe that'd be a future episode.
Yeah, that's a mega list of stuff. Very cool. That one's where a lot of these, we're going through them, they would make cool, just sort of standalone episodes for our show. So maybe we'll see some of that stuff in the future, but that's a cool one. My next one's a little more niche. It's called smartservier.com. The SMART.SERVIER, smartservier is how I'm going to say it, .com. And this is really neat. I've never seen this in all the Google image searching that I've done for like scientific graphics as a chemistry teacher. I do a lot of this. A lot of that is like AI image generation these days, but I still have probably 15 years of relying solely on trying to find things by Google searching. This has never one time come up, but it's awesome. They have over 3,000 free images that are all like scientific images, and they're super high quality. They're intended for people doing like publications and papers. So if you were gonna say be publishing a paper and you needed a quality looking diagram of, I don't know, whatever your paper was about, maybe some aspect of cellular structure, you could come here and find it, but they've put these out there for everybody too. So this is going to be more for the science teachers or people who ever teach science, but if you're looking for, I don't know, they've got categories. So I just clicked on general items, and there's a category called animals, and then it kind of breaks it down. I found a pretty cool chimpanzee diagram, but really, really high quality stuff. And these are things that are tough to find, right? So that's the selling point here for smartservier.com. It's just like you could have an AI image generator do this, but with these more complicated scientific diagrams, sometimes it gets a little bit weird. It doesn't quite grasp the representations that you would expect, or it shows it in just kind of a strange way. And because these are not that, they're going to be good. Somebody has curated them specifically to be like higher quality. So this is neat. I gotta bookmark this just for my own creation of like sciencey documents, because there's just a ton of stuff, and knowing it's out there might save me some time in the future. Smartservier.com, pretty cool.
I will also be checking that one out,
Yeah.
just for the same reason that you just mentioned. Mine is called Runnable. All right, Runnable kind of looks like I don't know, maybe it runs on ChatGPT and Gemini and Claude and has all those in the background trying to pick the best one for whatever usage case that you have. There's a lot of capabilities here. You can make websites, slides, multimodal chats, video, Canvas, agent skills, connectors, so it will allow you to connect with up to 3,000 different apps, and basically, I think if you create, say, a social media image or some type of infographic, it will put it out to all of those sites pretty seamlessly. There's a carousel and called a run claw, which is your AI computer. It's always on, so it's their own personal bot-like thing. So what you would do is you would just type your idea in the box. It's really just like prompting. That's all it is prompting. But based on your prompt, it will find whatever tools it needs to best complete that prompt, and then it will complete that prompt. You have free 1,000 credits, and then after that, you would have to start paying for this. you can add resources to your prompts, such as docs, blogs, and things like that, and check out some usage cases. The starter for the first month is $1, and then that gets you 25,000 credits. And then after that, it looks like you'll have a cost of $50 per month. But I think it allows you to at least try it out. If you're already paying for like the pro version of ChatGPT or something like that, and also Canva, you're paying for that, and you're paying for all these different tools. If this can replace all those payments, it might be worth it to you. But for me, it's just worth it to kind of play around with it to see what else is out there. So I'll be checking out runnable.com.
Yeah, that one fits in well with the rest of the things we're talking about today. And we're going to pivot again here because my next one is also kind of a strange thing, but really, really awesome. Or should I say really, really cool, because the address for this is actually workout.cool. And it's a cool way to plan out a workout. So the obvious thing here is I'm thinking like a wellness PE teacher. But it's sort of like an interactive workout planner. So you could go there, or maybe just like for your own personal use, but it's this sort of process. Like number one, the first step is choosing equipment, so you can select like whatever equipment you have access to or that you want to use. So like maybe I can click pull-up bar, and you can select multiple different common things. Okay, and after you select the equipment that you've got, then you move on to the next stage, which is, they call it muscles, but it's essentially gives you different options for types of training within those equipments that you've selected. And then the last thing is it actually customizes a workout based on all that stuff. Really, really cool. It shows you these neat diagrams along the way, so like everything is very visual, which is like in an education sense why this might be neat. And it's just such a cool way to help teach kids about that, or to use it for yourself. They've got all kinds of other stuff if you wanted to like explore this. Like if you play around in some of their menus, they have different preset programs that have already been made. Skip on by that if you ask me, because the fun part is the interactive component of building it yourself. But you can input your own like workout stats if you want to. And then there's some other tools like a calorie calculator or a BMI calculator, heart rate zones, all kinds of good stuff within that world. Just a really neat tool. The only downside is that they get pretty bogged down with the ads on the site. But I've been on this thing for a while, playing around, and they're all pretty easy to get around. So just prepare yourself if you're checking it out. That is workout.cool.
That seems pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mine is also cool. It saves money.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's called Coupon with a K. And basically what it does is it goes out and it will find you all the current deals that are out there. This particular deal I'm looking at is an Amazon deal. I just decided to look up the thing that's annoying me the most lately, and that's these electronic bikes that kids are driving around. I'm not annoyed at the fact that they're driving around bikes. I mean, that's pretty cool. If we had that back in our day, when we had to go up the hill barefoot and 2 foot of snow both ways to and from school, I mean, that could have made it easier for us. But they annoy me because they are tearing up baseball fields that I'm in charge of taking care of. So I wanted to see how much these things are. And basically, you could find them anywhere from $1,700 to $400. So I mean, there's a big difference between the starting and ending price of these, but they are pretty cool when you think about it, and the technology and how it allows kids to be lazy and not have to power their own 2-wheeled vehicle. We had to used to work for things. I mean, now it's just like here.
I know. That's all I think is the exercise that you're like missing out on. It's one of the benefits of having to pedal your own bike is that you actually get to work your muscles and make your body a little bit healthier, but whatever. I guess if that's the way it's going,
Yes,
that's the way it's going.
that is the way it's going. But soon we'll be riding around in jets and mobiles.
Right.
Soon. But Coupon is an app. It's an app that you could use. It seems to connect pretty seamlessly to Amazon. And I wish I would have saw it like a week ago, because I decided to look up something. I needed magnets for my my board for my baseball team, so I can move their positions between innings and stuff like that. Make it easily keep track of it. And the magnets that came with the board, like if you bump into the little board, they fall off. So I'm looking for some heavy duty magnets. I paid $9.99 for a 12 pack, and I needed 24 of them because I have 12 kids. I need their batting order, and I also need their positions. So for a 12 pack, originally, like what I paid for, it was like $16.99, and I just found it for $9.99 on here.
Nice.
That's $7. It might not seem like a lot, but that's enough for me.
Yeah, I mean, this is great. Every once in a while, we throw out some of these little, just like more life hack kind of stuff, and this is a good one in that category. My favorite part about this, for whatever that's worth, is the little thing in the menu that says promo codes. I don't know if you do this, but like anytime I'm purchasing, not necessarily like on Amazon, maybe I should, but let's say I'm going to go to the Philadelphia Zoo. Maybe I'm buying the tickets for us and the whatever family friend is going with us that day. I never do any of those things without first like Googling to try to find, like, is there a promo code happening right now? Because I can usually get one, not always. And then like the $250 drops down to $180, and I saved, $70, and I feel real good about myself for doing that. Anybody who's ever played that game knows that these promo code sites are such a pain. Like half the time they don't work because they're outdated, or the company turns them off, or they're just so full of ads. But this is a good one. They have a promo codes section, and I don't know if they're legit or not because I haven't really tested them, but I have a feeling they are, just because of the general, like the whole site is just so well maintained and well put together. I'm not getting bogged down with any ads at all. It's clean, it's neat, it's easy to search, it's easy to find, and it makes me feel good about the promo codes I might get out of it. So I'm excited to share that one with you all today. And then I'll just do my last one as well. This comes up every now and again on the show. And it's weird. It's going to sound weird, but as tech coaches, we will use this thing from time to time. It's called, the URL is web.archive.org. I think it's often referred to as the Internet Archive, or the Wayback Machine is like another term for it. But essentially, this is a website that catalogs versions of websites over time. Like right now, they've got more than 1 trillion different web pages saved over time. If you're wondering why would this need to exist, or when would somebody have to use this, we will go to it from time to time because somebody will say something like, let's say our school website gets updated to some new version, and we'll get a question from someone that's like, hey, the old version of the website had this link to this page of information about the healthcare plans, and I can't find it anymore, blah, 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 blah. If you go to the Internet Archive at web.archive.org, chances are good that it will have cataloged that old version of the website. It still exists, saved here, so you can view it. Now, a lot of the old links are going to be dead, but as long as whatever you're looking for is like actually part of the web page, then you can actually still get a lot of information this way. We answer a lot of questions this way when weird things come up about new versions of websites and people not being able to find things. This is one to have. So for all the tech coaches out there, if you did not know this existed, it's worth knowing that it exists.
Yeah, can't argue with that.
Do you know what I'm talking about? We use this from time to time.
Yeah, we absolutely do.
Yeah.
And I think the next one is pretty darn cool as well. And this is my last one. It's called same.new. Once again, it looks like it's prompt based, but what I like is I can actually see when I enter the prompt. Like I just entered one that says create a human skeleton, labeling all the bones, make this interactive. All right, so what it's doing on the side, I could see everything that it's doing right now. It's building me an SVG skeleton. And when you hover over the bone, it will basically like display the name of that bone. I think that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
But I could read everything that it's doing. So it's now been thinking for 50 seconds, but instead of just seeing 3 dots, I could see everything it's thinking. It says, I'm planning out the structures for an interactive skeleton visualization with a vintage anatomical atlas aesthetic. And there's like 3 paragraphs. And it's telling me everything that it's thinking about, everything that it's doing in the background. And then eventually it will kick out this human skeleton that's interactive. And I love that. I love seeing everything that's happening behind the scenes. I see some of the code that's there, some of the parts of the human anatomy that it's working on right now. So it's now working on the legs. All right, there's not a whole lot of leg bones there, but it did incorporate like the different supporting cartilages and things like that, ligaments that are supporting those bones. And it's also now doing the ID, the name, the Latin name, the anatomical region, category, count in the body, and positioning data for labels. So like it's not just doing the bones, but it's also doing the how it's being laid out and everything that it's doing with it. So I don't mind waiting if the output is solid.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably, for something like this, you're going to have to wait. It honestly kind of reminds me of Canva Code, and Canva Code is awesome, but it is, you're pretty limited with what it can produce. If you go other places to have code written for you, and this is a good example, same.new, you're going to get you could get some higher level stuff. And if this is a world you're into, I'll just mention this too. I had a former student come back to visit me at the end of the school year, and this kid we're going to be an engineer, but is very into AI, just because he sees the writing on the wall, and that's how a lot of the field is going to be functioning in the coming years. And he was showing me some of the stuff that he uses Claude, and he pays for the top tier version of Claude just to get the best results. But this guy's making apps and websites and simulations like on a daily basis by having Claude write the code for whatever he's building out, and that includes different AI agents that do things for him. And it was mind-opening or eye-opening for me to see that. And that's kind of what this makes me think of. Like if you played around with Canva Code but felt like, boy, I wish I could do whatever, this more complex interactive thing, you should dive into this world a bit. Maybe head over to same.new or check out one of the Claude Code platforms, because you can do some really, really wild stuff. And I can almost guarantee some point in the next year, me and you are going to be doing an episode about how to make that happen, because this stuff is super cool.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff that we talked about today is super cool in its own right, and sometimes we just need to sit down and play.
Yep.
Just like the kids need to sit down and play, we need to sit down and play. And sometimes the things that you sit down with and you explore are the things that are going to get you fired up and motivated to go back to school and to try new things and all that. And that's kind of what I'm hoping that this is there for me. I could definitely see some usages of the 5 tools that I shared today. We're hoping that you could find one usage out of the 10 that we shared and maybe explore that and use it next year during the school year to either make your job easier or to engage your students a little bit more. So until next time, thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to the EdTech Throwdown. Do us a couple of favors. Subscribe to our podcast on any major podcast catcher such as Apple, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, and Stitcher. Go over to YouTube, search the EdTech Throwdown, subscribe to the channel. You can connect with us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. The show's handle is EdTech Throwdown. You can connect with Geis at GeisGotTech, Nick at NickGotTech. You can write us an Apple Podcast review. You can tell your friends about www.edtechthrowdown.com. And lastly, go over and check out our friends over at the Teach Better Podcast Network, a network that we are so proudly involved with. Until next time, remember, go try some EdTech because we will do the research so you can teach your class.